Hello and welcome, everybody. This is the Greg Colby Show. I'm Domenic Panza for Marauder Sports Broadcasting Network at MillersvilleAthletics.com. Joined by Millersville head football coach. And Coach, another tough weekend last weekend. What do you say to the guys in the locker room after a loss like that?
Well, you know, I'm a believer in being upfront and honest and telling the guys exactly where we are and what I think is going on. And the first thing I told them is that, as a coaching staff and as a head coach, we haven't done a good enough job getting us prepared to play in the last 3 or 4 weeks. There's been factors involved that have led to our play declining, and we've got to do a better job as a coaching staff in order to be prepared under those circumstances, and that obviously hasn't happened like it needs to. So that's the first thing I do is point the thumb at myself, and then we talk about where we need to go and what we need to do to finish the season with the last 3 games that we have. And that's how we handle our Sundays. We come in and we analyze the tape, and okay, here's the mistakes we made and here's what we have to do to fix those mistakes. It doesn't do any good to yell, doesn't do any good to be mad at everybody, even though I'm mad at myself as much as anybody, and I think everybody is to some degree. But the only way I know how to get better, whether you're having a good season or a poor season, is to go out and look at what's going wrong and do what you can to fix those things and do whatever you need to fix those things and fix the ones you can and don't worry about the ones you can't. And so that's what we talk to them about.
What do you think are the main differences from the first 3 weeks of the season to the past 5?
Well, there's a lot of factors that have gone into what's happened this season. Number one, coming into the year, we had real high expectations, both staff and players, and I'm sure a lot of people around the community did as well. And started out, played pretty well, lost a close game to a really good football team, won the next 2, and things are looking pretty good. Then we run into a buzzsaw against Bloomsburg, who's a better football team. And in fact, I believe they're one of the best in the conference, in the whole conference. I'm pretty sure they're one of the best in the East. And, all of a sudden that confidence gets knocked down 2 or 3 or 4 notches, and then you start to question yourself. And when you do that, no matter what you're doing, then that keeps you from being able to perform at your best the next time around. And so that kind of started a sequence of events. The other thing, the injury bugaboo has bit us. We were fine the first 3 or 4 weeks. Then all of a sudden, game 4, we started losing guys. Lost Mike Jones, our starting running back, in the Cheney game. He still hasn't come back. We're hoping we get him back this week. We've lost 2 starting centers, and we're on our 3rd right now, and had to move and shuffle people around the O-line. We've lost a starting linebacker on defense permanent. This is for the year. This is not just temporary. So those things, and they make you move people around and make you be in situations that maybe you didn't want to be in from a personnel standpoint, and so that's happened too. I think we need to do a better job with the limited practice times that we have during the week. Of getting our guys to execute what we need to do, and if that means that we oversimplify our offense and defense, then that's what we need to do, and that's what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. So, we've been working on some things to try to get us back on track and get us back to playing the way we did early in the season. And I think we actually had a good week of practice last week. Didn't show up in the game on Saturday, but it did, and hopefully we'll have another good week of practice this week, and those things that we're doing will start to show up on the field.
What do you think, if there's one key thing that you could cue on, would be the key to rebounding?
Getting some the guys back healthy. That would be one big thing. Then we wouldn't have to be jerry rigging our alignments and putting people in positions that they haven't had enough work at. I think right now, I think the biggest thing that we're battling is our mental frame of mind, because to me that's one of the big things that we harp on all the time. It's not necessarily the schemes we use that are important; it's how we play, and it's playing with great intensity, and it's playing with that confidence, and playing physical and playing fast. And if you do that all the time, then you've got a chance. You're going to make up for mistakes by the way you play. And when you're down like we are right now, that's difficult to do that. It's difficult to keep going back out there every day and play with that kind of enthusiasm and that kind of intensity and that kind of effort when the results don't reward you. So that's our biggest task right now as a coaching staff is to keep our guys mentally where they need to be to give us a chance to play, and on the other hand to be working on those skills and techniques that have been biting us in the tail and have been creating the problems for us.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back after the Marauder Pride Play of the Week, We'll talk a little bit more with Greg Colby and the upcoming game at Shippensburg. And now it's time for the Marauder Pride Play of the Week.
Now with Egan Ryder in motion, takes the snap. Here comes an all-out blitz, has a man, touchdown! Greg France puts it in from 8 yards out.
And this has been the Marauder Pride Play of the Week. Welcome back to the Greg Colby Show. We hope you enjoyed the Marauder Pride Play of the Week. Coach, let's talk about Shippensburg. This is another team. They're 2-6, but it seems as though their record really doesn't speak for how good they are as a team.
No, they lost a few of their top players from their championship team a year ago, but they're still a real solid football team. Their entire offensive line is back. They've got some good skill people. Their running backs are back. On defense, same thing. And they're playing aggressive, hard-nosed football. They're a lot like East Stroud was last week. The record not really indicative of the kind of team that they can be and the potential that they have and the way they play. And I know we're gonna go over there and they're gonna be playing hard for Rocky Reese's last home game, and so we're gonna have to really come up with a great game plan and come up with great effort and execution to have a chance to be in this ball game.
You mentioned their running backs, the two Kevins. It's a two-headed monster. How do you stop them?
Well, you have to be disciplined. This is a lot like our week against Cheney. It's not triple option, but it's the same idea. They've got they can attack you either outside on either side or interior or throwing the ball. So you have to be disciplined. Guy's got to know what his job is. Guy's got to execute that job. And if we can do that, if we can be disciplined and executing our responsibilities on defense, then we can at least slow them down a little bit. You can't stop a wishbone team from running the ball. They're going to run the ball. They're going to get their yards, but you can limit it. And if we don't give up the big plays, then you can make them drive down the field. And at some point in time, they'll make a mistake if you can keep from making your mistakes.
They do have a young team, and one of the players that has made some mistakes this year is their quarterback. Mm-hmm. How do you force him into those mistakes?
Well, again, if we play aggressive and if we play discipline and make him make his choices, make his decisions instead of giving him the plays, by our mistakes, then at some point, a guy's going to make those mistakes, especially young guys. Young guys make mistakes. It's just part of the game. So hopefully if we can, be in our position and not give him something that's easy and make him make his plays, then, that hopefully will create some turnovers and create some poor plays on his part.
Let's talk about the final 3 weeks. Where's the team's mindset heading into these final 3?
Well, obviously right now, very disappointed because we had pretty high hopes for the season. The players did. And, at this point in time, they're looking at, okay, we just lost a chance to have a winning season by losing last week. But, what we try to tell our guys is, hey, we know what we need to do. We know what we need to do to fix it. It's just a matter of working hard enough and working smart enough to fix those things. And, we still got 3 games against 3 teams that are not necessarily world beaters. And if we can get back to playing the way we were earlier and playing up to our potential, we can be in all 3 of those ball games. And, 5 wins in the season, wouldn't be a bad season. And the other thing we talk about, too, is that in this game, you need to play for pride. You need to play for, you need to know why you're out there on that field. And, I think personally, I take pride in doing things as well as I can possibly do them. And if I don't, then, I'm going to change something. And I think the players need to look at that too. We need to play as well as we're capable of playing. And that in and of itself needs to be a motivating factor for us.
Finally, Coach, what are a couple of goals that you have set for your team for the final 3?
Biggest thing is to get better. We talked on Sunday and talked to the coaches, same thing. I want you to pick out 2 or 3 things, 2 or 3 skills, 2 or 3 techniques that I want you to work on this week and get better at those 2 or 3. And if we can do that, if everybody can do that, regardless of what that is, but if I as an individual player can improve on 2 things that I didn't do well last week, and I as a coach can do 2 or 3 things or have my position do 2 or 3 things better than we did last week, it adds up. And pretty soon you're doing enough good things right that you're back in the ball game and have a chance to win it. So that to me is take one step at a time, fix those things that we can fix and work hard to improve what we're doing, and pretty soon we'll be back where we want to be.
All right, my thanks to Greg Colby. You've been watching the Greg Colby Show at MillersvilleAthletics.com. For MSBN, I'm Domenic Panza, and we'll talk to you soon.